take a second here and say I appreciate everybody that's following us. I appreciate all the support that we've been getting recently, and a lot of it's locals, and I know it. So I appreciate you guys. Mel and I, we appreciate it. I can't say it enough. But off of that, let's get to what we're doing today. Today, we're going to be doing nothing that involves what we should be doing. We should be working on the Z. We got a ton of things that we got coming up in the next couple of weeks between Mike, Mel, and myself. But we had a day break. Today's actually Mike's birthday, so happy birthday, Mike. But on Mike's birthday, we got a break, and we're going to work on this thing. We're going to chip away at the Lexus a little bit more. So let's just dive right in here, and I'll show you guys a little bit of my car, explain a little bit about it, go over some of the stuff of what this car has on it. If you guys take a look under here, that's what we're going to be installing today is the diff. But let's go ahead on, and I want to show you guys how rusty this car is. Well, I say how rusty it is, but how rusty it isn't. So if you guys look over here, I mean, you can see it. You can see it. So a lot of this rust, and I don't know if I'll really be able to point it out well, a lot of the rust that you're seeing is really on just the subframe. Actually, you might be able to see it pretty well right here. So you can see like how rusty the subframe is and how rusty everything is, but when you look at the body, there's a little bit of rust and like on the ding rails and all, but it's not really in the body. You know, like, so the body itself of the vehicle is actually pretty good. And up front, it didn't really rust at all, minus like your suspension knuckles. I'm sorry, the light's really bright. I'm trying to work with it. But like my suspension knuckles are pretty busted, like and rusted. But I mean, like the front, like none of the frame or anything, nothing got rusted because the oil leaks were so bad on this car when I first got it. All of this was saturated. So you see right there, I got like some Megan roll center adjusters. I put those on not long ago. I got Megan upper control arms. The car has TN coilovers, basics all around. And 10 out of 10, these things right here, these sway bar links, boy, I hate them. Boy, I hate them. So you see how close that thing's riding right there? And over here, it's hidden right there. Ding, right there. See it? Yeah, it's hidden. And you can't really stop that. So, got, I don't even know what kind of exhaust this is. What kind of exhaust is this? A Tanabe. So, yeah, we're gonna be swapping out that Johnny right there. Boy, look how rusted that diff is, huh? So hopefully we don't have any problems with like these studs up in there. So other than that, I'll point out I have some Z wheels on the car. I actually got these off of Mike. So if you guys want to take a peek, tire setup here, I have some Pergias. Yeah. So I got Pergias. Oh, forgot about that. Got LS400 brakes too. Yeah, got some big old brakey boys. But so I got Pergias in the front. I'll probably be running a like pretty sticky 180 treadwear tire up front, and then it's a 225 4018. Yeah. And the same on the rear. Yes, they are also 225 4018s. So instead of running like a big boy grippy tire like Mel runs on a 265, I kind of feel like this car is going to need a lot more of, how should I say this, a momentum drift. I'm going to have to carry a lot more momentum when I'm drifting this car. So I feel like I'll probably keep the rear a little more stiff than I set up Mel's car, with a smaller tire and less traction, less tire patch traction, whatever you want to call that. And yeah, that's, I think, as I said, I'm so scatterbrained with like how the car, I don't know. I mean, I have to just start driving the car. Once I get the transmission in, we start drifting this thing, I'll be able to kind of assess what I need to do better from there. So let's just go ahead on and dive into getting this diff changed, and I'll try to bring you guys along a little bit better and in depth of like how we're doing this. So let's get to work, huh? What do you say? Quit talking and yeah. All right, so as you guys were just watching, I got all my tools together. Let's just go over this real quick. You're going to need a half drive breaker bar. That's going to be getting these bolts. For that, you'll also need a, what size is this? 12 millimeter Allen key. That's for the big bolts. I suggest getting a long one, a long number 8 here. It's an 8 mil Allen. For the actual bolts, you'll need a half drive impact if you want to make life easy, 19 millimeter, couple ratchets. These are 14 millimeters and those are for the drive shaft. Oh, and the 19 mils for the big bolts. And we'll get to cracking. I think Mike's gonna be showing up here soon, so let's get back to work. All right, so as you saw us struggle, we had, let me come over here, we had a heck of a time getting these out. They were pretty seized. So pro tip, we used a half drive impact. We used the big impact that I showed you guys earlier, but we went forward with the impact, like tightening the bolt, loosen, tighten, loosen, tighten, loosen, bunch of penetrating oil, and eventually they came out. So we also did back here, get some light on here for you guys. Don't make fun of my hole. That's part of the rust on the rear. We had to drop the sway bar, and you have to pry up here. You can't really see it, but you gotta pry your inner fender back a little bit, or if you have a small enough Allen wrench to get up in there and get those bolts out. So like I said, we just dropped the sway bar, we pried that, we busted those bolts loose. We haven't got our axles yet sealed. We got them soaking in like some penetrating oil. So we shouldn't be far off of dropping this axle now, or this axle. We shouldn't be far off of dropping the diff now. Mike's here with me. Yeah, so we're gonna continue to fight this a little bit and take you guys along. So hang out with us. All right, so I don't know if you can see me or not. So anyway, we got the little cups separated, we got all that. What you want to do, I just want to point this out, you want to get like all this ring in here clean. You want to take like some sandpaper or something and like get this clean, because that's where we were fighting the rust at mainly, with the axles being stuck. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and fill the diff before it's in the car, just because it's probably going to be easier. So get yourself a little piece of wood. You want the diff sitting pretty much about where it's going to sit in the car. Like it's kind of level. It's roughly level. And then you just fill it here. The reason I say that is just because like this one has a vent. Same with like the Z. And if you overfill them, once you start drifting with them and the diff fluid starts getting hot, it will start to come out of that vent. So unless you have like a catch can or something, you're probably just going to create a mess like I had in the past. So get this thing full, I'm probably just gonna put like standard fluid in it. I don't think I'm gonna run synthetic or anything because I'm pretty religious about changing fluids on the drift cars. So I'm not really worried about it. It'll probably only be in there for a couple events and then swap it out for some fresh fluid. We'll get this thing filled up and we'll get it in. Miller time. Say happy birthday, Mike, y'all. He can't hear you. So, yeah. All right, done. We're done. It actually went okay.
Yeah,
What do you?
bad.
Wasn't too terrible.
The hard part was getting the axles out of the diff. That was the only real hard part about it.
Right. And it was like I showed you earlier. It just sits in there. So the key part about this job is if you're dealing with a rusty car, patience. You have to keep your patience. If you don't keep your patience, you're going to make it harder on yourself. So I'll show you guys. Bam. Oh, and since I didn't really touch on it, the way I tightened this was I got the back bolts installed and I got them kind of like hand tight, and then I came up here and I slammed these in and then tightened the rear, and then went on about tightening everything else. I don't know if you guys can see here. You see there's a difference in these. Let me grab a light. There's a difference in those bolts. Yeah, one of them broke. Yep. So
Yeah, rusty.
one of the bolts broke there. We had to replace that. Real easy. I think that's it. So what we'll do, we'll get this thing down and we'll see if it's actually working. What you say, Mike?
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, buddy. I'm actually amazed it even did a little dig out. I thought it was like the transmission was just gonna go. So,
Explode.
seems like it's working. Seems like the auto's handling it. The plan is to just put the welded diff in and let it break the auto and force me to put my W58 in, which is right over there. And yeah, so great success. Great success. I hope this video helped you out and learning how to work on rusty pieces of junk. So yeah, I think that'll wrap it up because we got other things to do today. So as always, guys, give us a like if you liked the video. If you didn't, we don't like it. Is what it is.
It's all engagement. Right?
It's all engagement, baby. You know what I mean?
Give me a thumbs down.
Give me a thumbs down if you don't like it. Yeah, that's right. Consider subscribing, guys. And if you do, hit that bell. So once again, I appreciate you guys. Until next time, when we're working on the Z. Peace.